Alright guys, so this is the YouTuber Coryxkenshin, or Coryxkenshin, excuse me, and he, basically in a nutshell, he would make like YouTube videos about, reaction and gaming. He's a gaming YouTuber. He's one of those YouTubers that, he's actually one of the OG YouTubers if you look at his past. He's been making, wait, yeah, oh, 16 years. He's been making videos for a good while. Yeah. So, and people deem Coryxkenshin as one of the most wholesome and one of like the most real YouTubers out there. And yeah, until this week when allegations came, there were some accusations made against the YouTuber Coryxkenshin of, you know, assault. Not good accusations. I don't want to say assault because I haven't looked into this yet, but yeah, so there are crazy accusations against Coryxkenshin, and this is crazy from a guy named Coryxkenshin because this is, as I said earlier, he's one of like the most wholesome YouTubers. But hey, even wholesome YouTubers do have a dark past. So we're gonna take a look at this video from Internet Versus from Connor here, who got rid of the Dahmer hair. Yeah, it's cool. Let's check it out.
Images with massive YouTuber Coryxkenshin recently had allegations levied against him by an ex-girlfriend on TikTok. And in her statement,
an ex-girlfriend came out against him, which I'm not saying it's not true, but like, let's take it with a grain of salt here. All of this is accusations, by the way.
103 separate images with Xbox and Discord messages scattered throughout. She accuses him of all sorts of things, ranging from emotional abuse to manipulation and gaslighting to just generally being a bad partner. However, she also posted a video where Cory and herself appeared to be making jokes about Cory doing things to her while she was sleeping, which caused a firestorm of a debate online as to whether or not Cory essayed her, although she eventually addressed this speculation. At the time of this recording, Cory has yet to respond, but she also did call into another TikToker's live and clarified some of her story. Welcome to the
Alright.
Versus Coryxkenshin. As a disclaimer, these are just allegations. Take them with a grain of salt, and please do not harass anyone involved. It starts when 2Ripe tweets out 2 videos that Panda posted on her TikTok with the caption, "Just to spread it around, Panda Ninja XX Official on TikTok released an entire timeline regarding her abusive, manipulative, and absurdly toxic relationship with Coryxkenshin with evidence. I will link her stories below, all in 3 parts. Please share this around."
Oh yeah, fun fact, this thread actually like got deleted. I'm not sure if it was because the person who made this thread doesn't agree with it anymore. I'm not sure if it's because they got, I guess, a bunch of stuff wrong there. But yeah, I was gonna look through this thread, and turns out that it got deleted.
So she doesn't go unnoticed.
Oh well.
Attaching these 2 videos.
It's still on.
I'm still on.
Then I woke up again and it was off.
Did you watch me sleep?
Hmm?
Did you watch me sleep?
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry. I just got this fetish that I do. You know.
What?
I didn't hurt you. You're good, right?
What'd you do, Cory?
Just don't worry about it.
This is more cringe
Cory?
because like it's being recorded.
Cory, what did you do?
Do nothing. Look, this came right in my face. I didn't do anything.
He did something, and I'm gonna find out on the next episode of
Next episode of
Dragon Ball Z. Where you going with this?
Bacon avocado.
I dated Cory Kenshin.
what was it, bacon over?
And he hurt me really bad. And I'm not the only one.
Then he links multiple part stories to her TikTok, and going over there, it starts.
Look, I'm sorry to say this, but like when you're like releasing accusations on TikTok with like music in the background and this shit and that, I'm sorry, but that's pretty cancerous. I'm not gonna lie to you. This whole entire releasing accusations on TikTok is cancerous. Now, if you're sitting in a chair and actually like going through evidence all through the shit that you have stocked up and actually going through it without some gay cringe background music, then I'll actually like consider your story. But like if you're doing like some like background music or like some stuff like that with like a selfie being like this and that, I would tune out of that immediately.
She puts a part 1 on her TikTok story saying, the truth about your favorite YouTuber, sharing your story. This is part 1. I'm not doing a story time. I'm sharing what I lived. If it feels heavy, it's because it was. Part 2 drops later tonight. Please read with care. Content warning, non-graphic. Emotional plus mental abuse, manipulation, narcissistic behavior, love bombing, gaslighting, illness-related trauma, emotional abandonment, and status-fueled cruelty. No graphic details, but it's heavy. And the TikTok start by saying, I didn't want to do this, but I don't owe you my silence anymore. There's no clean way to start. Just that familiar weight in my chest while the world kept applauding someone who never showed up for me. I was never part of your world publicly. You made sure I stayed close. Just far enough to be invisible. Your followers ate up the whole man of faith image you push, but faith without basic decency isn't faith, it's branding. You talk about devotion, but act like hurting people in private doesn't count. That's not devotion, that's hypocrisy. You fooled a lot of people, but not me. When I met you, I was at one of the lowest points in my life. I was still healing, still trying to remember how to love myself after going so long without it. I had all this love and nowhere to put it. And for a moment, your attention made me feel sane. Like maybe I wasn't invisible anymore. Even writing this now has me crying so hard I can barely breathe. The pain still lives in my body, like it just happened yesterday. I'm not writing this because I still care. I'm writing this because I've carried too much in silence. She then includes an empty screen, and the allegations continue. You ghosted me, not because you were confused, but to teach me a lesson. You made me feel like I had to shrink just to earn a reply. Every move was calculated, even if I couldn't see it back then. Anytime I tried to speak up, you twisted it into something wrong with me. And while I sat alone, replaying every word, breaking myself apart just to try to make sense of it, they were out there calling you a positive role model. They'll never know how many nights I cried quietly into my pillow, trying to convince myself it wasn't that bad, just so I wouldn't have to admit how deeply it broke me. You never showed up when it mattered. You only came around when it was convenient, when you wanted something, when it was easy. But when I needed care, support, the bare fucking minimum, you vanished. That was your punishment. Silence. Distance. Disappearing like affection was something I had to earn. Like loving you too loudly meant I needed to be put in my place. You treated my body, my heart, my time like they were things you could shelve and retrieve whenever it suited you. Like I only existed when you needed to feel wanted. You made sure your absence cut deeper than your presence ever comforted. And the worst part? That kind of damage takes effort. So, congratulations. And then came these subtle
Alright, so far, nothing like too crazy. It's
abs. You once asked if I wanted to know how much you made. I said no because I didn't care. I've never depended on anyone. I've worked hard my whole life and made my own money. But still, you made me feel small for the job I had. Like I was a disappointment just for not living up to your standards. I never asked for your money, your platform, your help, any of it. I didn't want what you had. I just wanted to be treated like I mattered. Like a human fucking being. But even that, I felt like too much for you. It probably bothered you that I wasn't impressed, that I didn't melt for your image, your ego, your self-importance, that I saw right through you and still gave you the chance to be real. But that version of you, the one who could actually care, he never fucking existed. And then came your one grand fucking gesture. Flowers, candy, a teddy bear, and a card. The first thing you ever bothered to give me. The last thing that felt remotely real. The card said, Nami. The way I feel about you is real. You are so wonderful, so gentle and kind, not to mention sexy,
Jesus Christ.
I miss you, and hope this puts a big ol' smile on that pretty face. See, it felt like maybe, finally, something was different. For a split second, I let it crack my armor. I let myself believe you. When you called that night and poured out a heart-to-heart, said I've made a lot of mistakes, but you were never one of them, I fucking cried. Because even after everything, I still wanted to believe you were capable of being good to me. And then, the next day, someone told me they saw you in California with another girl. I already knew where you were going. You'd told me that part, but you never said who you were going with, so I assumed it was your family. That's how it always was with you. I never really knew what you were doing, just whatever pieces you decided to share. All I did was ask, calmly, the way anyone seeing someone would. I'm not the type to pry or get jealous over nothing, but when the details don't add up, I pay attention. But you snapped at me. You said it was your sister, got defensive. I wasn't accusing you of shit, I just wanted the truth. But your reaction said everything, even if it really was your sister. The guilt always slipped out before you could cover it. You always gave yourself away, and then you ghosted again. Do you know what that kind of pattern does to someone? It rewires your nervous system. It teaches you not to trust softness, not to believe kindness. It makes you think that if something feels good, it's probably a setup. That was the real you, not the sweet, funny persona you flashed on camera. Just a selfish, image-obsessed coward who cared more about looking good than being good. You couldn't even stay in the same room as your own consequences because accountability doesn't get likes, right? I spent so long asking what was wrong with me, wondering how I could show up with my whole heart and still not be enough, trying to be softer, quieter, easier to love. But the truth is, I was never asking for too much. I just kept pouring into someone who never planned to give anything back. You knew how badly I wanted to be loved, so you breadcrumbed just enough affection to keep me hoping, then called me crazy for wanting more. And still, I gave you the benefit of the doubt every time. I let your excuses rewrite the truth, just so it would hurt a little less. I held your chaos like it was love, because that's all you ever offered. I kept handing you chances, kept trying to make sense of the hurt, kept believing maybe there was something good in you worth holding on to. That part's on me, but everything after that, that's all you. This was just the beginning. Part 2 comes late tonight, and it only gets heavier.
Part 2?
Then at the start of part 2, she makes the TikTok description. This is part 2 of the letter.
Why don't you just upload all parts at the same time, though?
I'm working on part 3 now. Thank you to those who've been reading this with care. None of this has been easy to share. And then she puts the same content warning as part 1. Part 2, where it gets worse. And then came the Xbox messages. It wasn't even what you said. It was how casually you said it. Like nothing you'd done had ever left a scar. Like you hadn't already shattered me once and just gotten bored. And then she attaches messages with her and Cory, where she says, okay, so what's up? And Cory replies, you still seeing someone? And Panda says, why do you ask? And Cory replies, because I'm trying to fuck your life up some more. And Panda says, what? And Cory replies, that was a joke, jeez. I was just asking. And Panda says, never heard you curse before. That's why it threw me off. And she continues her statement, like it was funny, like it was cute, as if the pain you caused the first time wasn't real. The confusion, the trauma, the fucking aftermath. All just a joke now that you were bored again. My chest locked up. I wasn't even surprised, just furious you still had the audacity to crawl back in like you were welcome, like I'd let you ruin me again for your own entertainment. You didn't come back to make things right. You came back because fucking with me made you feel powerful, because you knew I used to let you win, because you counted on the damage you did to keep me soft, because you thought I'd be too broken to bite back. And then there's continued messages where Cory says, because I wanted you. And Panda says, wanted me how? And Cory says, like how I've had you. And Panda replies, like in a relationship type of way or something else? And he replies, like something else. And Panda says, that's kind of messed up. I wasn't a toy. And Cory replies, I know that. I wasn't just about to message you after a year and ask you to be my girlfriend. And they continue where Panda says, but I guess I was just a good fuck for you. And Cory says, when you said relationship, I thought you meant I was just gonna ask you out. And Panda replies, nah. And Cory says, I mean you were, but that's not all you were. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You're with someone. And Panda says, that's how it felt at the time. Even if I wasn't, I wouldn't have let you again. And when I did that with you is something I just don't do with anyone. And Cory says, you wouldn't have let me fuck again, lol. And Panda says, no, I wouldn't. And Cory replies, I'm glad. I'm the same. I don't fuck anyone. Double bummer. And Panda replies, the difference between you and I though is that I don't do it with just anyone because I was absolutely abused. I'm not saying that for you to feel bad or whatever, but for you to understand. And Cory replies, I know, you told me that. I didn't know I got lumped into the category with the person that did that. And Panda says, because I was being used for that. I guess that time when you told
Sheesh.
how you felt was not real too? The statement continues, do you hear yourself? You knew I'd survived SA. You knew how hard it was to feel safe in my own body. You used that as a leverage, just to remind me how far you'd gotten. Threw it in my face like I should be flattered. You didn't want me.
Damn.
You wanted access. The version of me who froze when things felt wrong, who kept forgiving you because I thought love was supposed to hurt. When I pushed back, you got defensive. I don't know why I'm lumped into that category. Fuck you. You put yourself there. You crossed lines you had no right to, and you knew exactly what you were doing. Then you tried to backpedal, like everything could be undone if you called it a mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was you being you. And then she attaches messages where Cory says, backpedal, you were never used for sex. I need to make sure you understand that. I loved you. Like I said, didn't have my shit together. And Panda replies, you loved me? How is that possible? The statement continues, then you had the nerve to say, I loved you back then. I just didn't have my shit together. Really? You had the money, the platform, the fans, the house, the car, everything. You had every tool to be a decent human being, and you still chose to be careless with someone you claimed to love. I didn't have my shit together either, but I still showed up with heart, with honesty, with care. I never used my chaos as an excuse to mindfuck someone else. But I guess empathy doesn't hit the same when the mirror is not pointed at you, because if someone can say I loved you after they've already destroyed you, what the fuck does love even mean? And if anyone else is reading this, I want you to really ask yourself something. How would you feel? Would you keep making excuses for him? Would you still tell yourself it wasn't that bad? Because I did.
Probably.
I did for a long time. I held in everything while they held him up. What makes it worse is how many people still praise you. How many don't know who you really are? How many built their platforms just by orbiting yours? And while all of that was happening, something else started happening to me. What would you do if the nurse called your name and the moment you sat down, the world stopped making sense? TNBC, stage 3A, aggressive. You're staring at the doctor's mouth, but the sound's already gone. No tears, just shock. Like your soul stepped out of your body and left you alone to hold the news. Heart slamming against your ribs, tunnel vision. Thoughts collapsing under words like chemo, mastectomy, radiation. And outside, the pandemic makes sure no one's there to catch you. You're isolated, terrified, too stunned to tell more than a handful of people because you barely believe it yourself. You walk out knowing your life just shattered, yet somehow you still have to keep walking. I've reached out to people, not for comfort but for closure, because when you've survived a trauma like mine and you're forced to face the possibility that your story could end early, you do what feels right for your soul, whether anyone else understands or not. So I reached out to you. I didn't reach out because I was weak. I did it because my time was up. I wasn't taking your unfinished damage with me. And what did you say? And then she attaches a message that appears to be from Cory with the
That was passive
caption,
aggressive.
read that again, where he says, that was the most passive-aggressive cancer reveal ever, lol. And she continues her statement, that wasn't just cold, it was fucking cruel. It hit harder than the diagnosis itself. If that kind of cruelty comes easily, were they ever human at all? I lived. And when I came out the other side, I wasn't alone. I was held by people who loved me with no agenda. That's what healing looks like. That's what love actually is. That was the moment I realized who you really were. That was the moment. You knew my fucking story. You knew I'd already been through hell. You watched your own mother go through it. You saw what it did to your own family. You felt what that word means. The fear, the fight, the way it rips everything apart. And you said it anyway. So what the fuck was your excuse? No questions, no compassion, just a joke. Because anyone who can witness your pain and feel absolutely nothing was never someone with a soul to begin with. Heartless. Even after I cut the cord, I couldn't breathe. Because you weren't just a person I left behind. You were a name the internet wouldn't let me forget. You were still everyone's favorite post, and no one knew what it cost me. Your fans kept showing up in my DMs, acting like they had insights, but they didn't know a damn thing. And of course, there was Anne.
You could just like block it then.
She found me through your Xbox friends list, checked my profile, saw my IG in the bio, and followed me. But I didn't know that yet. Just another gamer sliding in. Nothing strange at first. Then one day, she posted you in her IG stories, and something in me paused. Part 3 comes next. Then for part
part 3. Here we go.
3, again, she attaches the description that says, "This is part 3. This is the end of the letter. This was everything. If you read to the end, then you understand the full truth. I didn't write this for attention. I wrote it so I could finally let it go. Thank you to the people who read this with care," and then puts the same content warning. Part 3, "They were watching me too. So I asked, 'Oh, you're a fan of Cory?' She said, 'Yeah.' I said, 'I'm not.' She followed up with, 'Why?'
Oh shit. Damn, here we go.
Why? It came off like a curious question, like maybe she knew more than she was letting on, but I wasn't about to assume. So I kept it short. We dated. It didn't work out. I didn't realize how she even found me until later. After that post in our conversation, something felt off, so I did some digging and saw she was following you on Xbox. That's when it clicked. She must have found me through Xbox. I don't know how many others she did that with. At the time, she hadn't done anything weird. She seemed nice. Just another follower showing support. We had light conversations. Nothing alarming. She liked some posts, message here and there. And when you're a creator, that kind of thing happens all the time, so I didn't overthink it. But the vibe was off, like she was watching more than connecting. I didn't have proof, just a gut feeling, and I should have listened to it. Then the anonymous IG account showed up. They started calling her out directly. At first, the way they worded it made it sound like I was part of the problem too, but that wasn't the case. I messaged them directly to clear it up. They listened. They removed the part about me. That's when they clarified they weren't trying to come for me. They were trying to warn me, and they were calling in out. They didn't have the full story, but they knew enough to see that you weren't good to me. And somehow, N knew too, before she ever even interacted with me. That's when things started to click. Because this wasn't new behavior. N had done this before. Turns out she had a reputation in your space. Though I didn't know that then. I was still assuming someone, especially you, might step in and shut the chaos down. The account eventually explained their full intent. They wanted the truth out, about you mostly, but also about N, for the cruel, manipulative shit she was doing in your community. Inserting herself into the lives of the woman you were connected to, digging, meddling, then twisting things. N messaged you directly, tried to paint her own version of the story, one where I was the problem. And you were aware of what was happening, but you never asked me what was going on, never checked in, never even questioned why your name was suddenly tangled in quiet drama. You just watched it unfold like it had nothing to do with you. And not long after that, one of your close friends, Brandon, someone who had never even acknowledged me, suddenly started watching my IG stories like clockwork, like he was assigned, like you were waiting to see if I'd finally speak. Then she attaches this
Bang Bang Brandon.
screenshot circling Bang Bang Brandon viewing her IG story. And the document continues, "No apology, no courage, just surveillance." And although I hate drama and this was never something I wanted to be a part of, especially when I was minding my own damn business, it started to feel like a sign. A push I didn't ask for, but maybe needed. And looking back, I'm grateful. Because of that, I met the others. The other women you heard. One by one, I got introduced to more of them. Women with stories. Women with messages they never sent. Women who saw the same patterns, the same affection when it benefited you, the same withdrawal when emotions got real. Blame always shifted onto the other person. For the first time in a long time, the weight I'd been dragging alone didn't feel so heavy anymore. We weren't alone, and we weren't broken, just convinced we were. They stayed quiet just like I did, because they didn't think their voice would matter, because it's easier to carry the pain than to explain it. But pain doesn't need permission to be real. Maybe I was meant to be the one to speak, until they're ready to. They are not alone, because everyone deserves that moment. The one where it's safe to exhale, to feel seen, to be heard, to remember they're real. This is my story to tell, and theirs to protect until they're ready. Why speak now? As if timing ever made the truth more comfortable? Because I was tired of living like your name held more weight than my voice. Tired of wondering if speaking would get me heard or destroyed. Afraid that the second I said your name, people would stop seeing me and start labeling. That the world would care more about protecting your reputation than hearing what you did. While everything I am, everything I built, risked being overshadowed by you. Some people told me to stay quiet, thinking it would protect me. But that kind of protection still hurts, because it made me feel like the world wasn't ready to hear the truth. And maybe it still isn't. Maybe they'll still side with you. But I'd rather be hated for telling the truth than stay silent to protect your comfort or their denial. This was never about revenge. This is about accountability. You wore kindness in public and cruelty in private. And silence helped you get away with both. I'm done
Nah, that's crazy.
swallowing my story so you can keep your fake reputation intact. Why didn't I leave? Because fuck, I was human. Because I wanted to believe he wasn't as cold as he acted. Because part of me thought love meant fighting through the worst. People love to ask, why didn't you just leave? Like they've never clung to the wrong person out of hope. Like they've never swallowed their own voice just to keep the peace. But they never ask, why did he make it so hard? Why did he keep coming back just enough to confuse me? Why did he never let me go but never fully chose me either? I didn't stay because I was weak. I stayed because I wanted to believe it would get better. Because I forgot what I was worth. Because I didn't know how much damage had been done. Because when you're constantly made to feel like you're the issue, you start believing pain is what you deserve. But I'm not that girl anymore. Even the soft girls snap when they've had enough. And I fucking had enough. And behind all of that, life was fucking heavy. I was dragging pain nobody could see, trying to survive shit I couldn't even name. Let's get one thing straight. I didn't write this for you to believe me. I'm not here to ruin him. I'm not asking you to pick sides. I'm asking you to sit with the truth, even if it makes you sick. He hurt people. He manipulated, discarded, and walked away clean every time. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. Unless someone finally says something. I didn't speak up for years. Not because I had nothing to say, but because I knew how this world treats women who speak against men with status. I knew I'd be labeled bitter, jealous, unstable. I knew his fans would tear me down before they ever tried to understand me. Because I knew people would stop seeing me and only see who I was connected to. You don't know me, but you don't know him either. You know the version he shows you, the one you want to believe. You weren't there. I was. So if you want to excuse him, go ahead, but own what you're defending because now you're part of it. You're not defending a good man. You're defending a mask. You can side with him. Just don't act surprised when more stories surface. You've been warned. He didn't just hurt me, he hurt many. Your loyalty to him doesn't make you brave, it makes you blind. So the girls are still watching him with hearts in your eyes, thinking you'd be the exception because you're different, prettier,
Oh, jeez.
more understanding, more his type. You won't be. He doesn't need a better woman. He needs to become a better man. And he won't. You could be stunning, soft, loyal, everything he claims he wants, and still, it won't stop what's coming. I know not everyone will be ready to hear this. Some will deny it. Some will defend him. Some will twist it into something it's not. Because facing the truth is harder than holding on to the version they were shown. People will say what they want. They always do. I didn't write this for them. I wrote this because I was there and they weren't. And that's the only difference that matters. No extra words, no permission, no apology. Just truth. And so after all of this happened, there was a whole bunch of debate
All right, here we go.
about whether these messages were real or not. I couldn't
How do you debate whether like Discord or Xbox messages are real?
include a whole bunch of conversation about the specifics of it, but she ended up posting a scrolling image on her Instagram story when 2Rep follows it up by saying, messages are real. Video footage posted on her story 30 minutes ago. However, she also called into Alpha Zalpha's live on TikTok and was pressed about the original video that she posted where they make a joke about doing things
Her refusing to clear Corey's name of SA?
to her in her sleep. And Vile tweets it out with the caption, her refusing to clear Corey's name of SA.
People
Oh shit.
have reposted it. People are already putting captions on it, saying whatever they want, adding essay to it, and doing just crazy stuff. So I feel like, would you be willing to make a post that just clarifies? And it's like, you know, like
Oh, are we talking about the one where they're like walking in on an airport or something?
I'm not accusing him of that. Like, because I do feel, because even though you never said that he did that, like now that that's out there, I do, you know, that's kind of crazy. That's crazy. So
Yeah, people are gonna like, you know, twist shit and be like, yeah, you definitely said he SA'd you or some shit.
I feel like it's not fair to me either because I didn't specify that. I didn't say that.
No, you did. You never said that. But like I said, with like, well, what they said,
Yeah, like with the internet today, people are gonna like, you know, twist shit.
because that video is so like, because of what he says in it. Like I know you said that you posted the video because it was a good moment between y'all, but because of what he says in it, people were able to make a jump, some logical leap. Even though you never said it, I'm not claiming that you did say that he did that, but they were able to make a jump because of how that video comes off. I guess it was, I don't know.
To be honest with you, like, I never, like, I feel, okay, how do I say this? I feel like because people didn't really read thoroughly through the whole thing.
I agree with that part because, like I said, me reading it, you never say anything about essay. But I do also agree with like that video is just not the like it does like it was able if that video didn't exist, they wouldn't have been able to make such a crazy jump. And I don't necessarily think that that's your fault because they didn't read, they chose not to read. But the internet is the internet. So like now that mistake has happened, I like and if you don't want him to have such crazy egregious claims on him, I do think that it's worth clearing up. That's just me personally because if you do. Especially if you care about what you actually said in the thing, you shouldn't even want people to be like mixing
like,
that in. You know what I'm saying?
Initially, that's like, you know, yeah, I understand. Initially, that's not how my.
However, she did eventually make a post on her story, not a separate individual post, when 2Rep tweeted out saying, also, this was already given context like a few posts before, but here is victim confirmation, where she did post for clarification.
Oh, he didn't essay. Okay.
He did not essay me. There's also more conversations that she had with this alpha guy on this live stream when Simplicity tweets out some more clips with the title, she keeps trying to change things.
Once said that he SA'd me.
Not once. Out of all 103 pages, you never said that.
I never said that he SA'd me. I said emotional abuse and mental abuse and manipulation and status-fueled manipulation, which is totally different things, and they hit hard as well as other fucking abuse.
And
Okay.
I'll also say, like, it felt like with how you wrote the message. Hold on, let me wait till the glasses get off. It felt like with how you wrote it, you were leaving it up to whoever read it, like his fans. You were leaving it up to them whether they still wanted to be a fan of him.
Yeah, that's not really a good thing to do. You're leaving it up to the viewers to decide whether they should say that shit.
After knowing that about him, but you weren't trying to necessarily like you know what I'm saying. You weren't trying to person that you like did these things, and it is what it is, and that's what it felt like you were trying to say. It just felt like people kind of took it far because they, how people feel about Corey. So
to be honest with you, like, I'm just kind of trying to grasp what happened today because it's just a lot. Like, I have not slept. And I'm like still kind of processing everything that happened. people are saying different things. Some people are very supportive of what they read and they understand, and they and not necessarily saying they're siding with me, but they're supporting me in what's happening. And then there's people that are running rapid with the other shit that
was never said. Yeah,
that was never said. Yeah, like I never said that. I never said that at all.
Then over on Coryxkenshin subreddit, Enter Reactions post the title regarding the current drama, and essentially this just says it's keeping it all to one thread, so it stays in all one place. An amazing dependent replies, "I don't understand why anybody who committed SA/a crime would admit to it on camera, and
Oh yeah, that's one thing. Why would you laugh at that shit?
why'd they both be laughing about it if she was being abused? Was the joke in poor taste and gross? Yes, but I don't think he'd be stupid enough to do that. And the screenshots look sketchy as shit. Seems like an attempt to cancel someone successful. And
Probably.
Ad replies, I don't know, I'm hoping that's just their humor together, and now she's trying to take something out of context and use it against him. An amazing dependent replies, it seems like it. If I was worried about someone abused me in my sleep, I certainly wouldn't be laughing and smiling. Christine Mongoose replies to the
You got a good point there.
original thread by saying, these allegations are leaving a weird taste. I really hope that he's able to clear it up because I love watching his videos and so does my family. But if it turns out that he did do something, I'm going to be extremely disappointed and I don't think I'd watch him anymore. Like I said, I hope he can clear them up, but if not, my prayers go out to that woman. Dom de Bomb Bomb replies, I think we need to
That's fair.
remember it's always innocent until proven guilty, even in the court of the media. But I think it's also important that we listen to both Cory and the girl, especially since if she is right, we don't want other women or men to look at this and use this as a reason to not speak out. Sorry Apple replies, as a victim by someone very, very close to me, I'm all about supporting victims. But if the person got famous, I wouldn't start exposing them on the TikTok app using trends like bacon avocado and things like that.
Yeah, why did she? Yeah, that's one thing I was confused. Why the fuck are you saying bacon avocado to, I guess, boost up a story where you were manipulated and abused by Coryxkenshin?
A serious topic, and you're recording yourself crying is speaking in slow motion on a trend that's meant for comedian purposes. It's just hella weird to do. I don't know Cory personally, obviously. I'm simply just a fan since 2016, and if it's all true, while it will be very heartbreaking and painful to sink in, I'll simply just have to grow up and find someone else. Anyways, if it is true, I feel like she should really have taken legal action and then speak about it. She's an adult. He's an adult. All these videos are just really fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole video shit. And TikTok in general, like making accusations on TikTok in general is just cancerous.
And apples and raisins.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. AIDS.
Replies, I just don't understand doing a stupid TikTok trend for this. Am I too old? Am I just too old to understand why anyone would think this is a good idea? And Sorry Apple says, no, it was a really stupid way to bring up this topic. She should have started off with a much more serious video. That type of crap is just extremely weird. I honestly think she should really take the video down and remake it, because that's highly inappropriate for such a topic, which seems to be very triggering for her. Cole tweets out, Cory gonna come back and address the allegations being like, hey, I was just trying to get some booty. Then does
What the fuck?
a 3-minute intro dancing like this. Now there's a whole bunch of unfounded rumors currently circulating the internet about Panda, the woman involved. Various TikTok and YouTube comments are making the rounds online, getting hundreds of thousands of likes and millions of views. As I said at the beginning, these are just allegations. Don't harass anyone involved. But I feel these are important to include just again to show how the internet is reacting and responding to these allegations.
It's based on what I'm seeing. It seems like the internet's on like Cory's side. Actually, I'll read this later.
But remember, there's no evidence as it stands right now for these claims. This is just commenters speculating. One of these making the rounds is this post by Autistic Kung Lao with 11,000 likes and 600,000 views. And there's many posts also showing this same TikTok comment where he says, guys, we might be okay. Cory is innocent. And it's this comment by someone named Bloss Noor who says she does this shit every year. And Mia Moore replies,
Wait, she has a history of accusing people of shit?
for real? And Blessnor says, it's on Twitter. I can scroll back, but apparently old girl was asking people to edit the screenshots. She dropped an audio of her admitting she was also into the Cory sleep thingy, had a side man while dating Cory and tried to play it off. Cory finally got tired of her and cut her off and was just leaking Cory's whole friend group numbers and even has essay allegations herself. Then someone DMs Bless
Oh, what the fuck?
by saying, yo, is this shit true? And Bloss says, wait, what? Explain. I have hella stuff going on. And they say Cory allegations, and Bless responds, oh, let me copy and paste what she said at the end of her tweet. So her friend tweeted this, but apparently, do not take my word for this. I'm just quoting what her friend posted. Cory was in love with that girl till he found out she was cheating first and pregnant with another dude's baby. She tried to say it was his, but I couldn't hold my tongue because that isn't right for her to lie to a good man like him. They were both young, making stupid choices in life. I'm not asking you to not hold him accountable for ghosting her like that, but I'm simply saying to listen to each side. Yes, I did wrong by helping her edit those screenshots, and I hope y'all can forgive me one day. And this Bloss person also...
I probably won't. But, dude, if I ever make it to the top, I will probably... hopefully I get a girlfriend before I make it to the top, because if I don't, I'm probably not gonna sleep with anybody.
Post this comment from Mr. Oblivion, who says, okay, so since people are actually believing whatever's being put out, let me go ahead and say the facts. For one, she was essayed, but not by Cory. However, he did make a joke about it being aware, so he is at fault for that, which by the way, she outright said it was an ex prior to Cory. 2, this happened in 2018. So the fact that people are bringing this up in 2025 is crazy, given that most people have changed within that time frame, in which Cory has changed mentally. The people who are just outright bashing him saying he's completely guilty is beyond insanity. Let's actually think, people. If the girl wanted to expose Cory, she would have already done it with actual undeniable proof. Yet every piece of proof has some context on it and or taken out of context. And so I tried to research what Bloss Noor is talking about on Twitter. I searched the specifics of this. They're saying that her friend posted this quote, Cory was in love with that girl, so I found
It's not there.
Found out she was cheating first. I couldn't find anything about that on Twitter. However,
Okay, this is just a rumor, guys.
lots of people are posting this, but to be honest, if I had the proof, I would show it to you. I just don't know. As it stands right now, this appears to be just a rumor to me. This person named You Don't Care also posted an updated list showing some of the things she's clarified that also happened on this live with Alpha X Alpha. I DM'd them asking where she's saying these things, and they clarified that this happened on the live with the dude named Alpha. I haven't been able to find a full archive beyond just the links and videos I've already showed you, but this is what this person claims happened on this live stream. One is she never cheated on Cory, but speculated Cory cheated on her, but was proven false when she asked him. Two, she posted the video for therapy and not canceling. She said she just wanted an apology. Three, the screenshots look weird, as she said, because she took them on multiple devices and because she had an Android at the time. Four, she said she hasn't posted everything yet. Five, she said she never said anything about a pregnancy and that is false. Six, her and Cory were on and off relationship. Seven, she claimed that the video where he makes an SA joke was just a false happy memory of them together, where it looks like a happy memory, but it's not. She also said that's how they joked around. Eight, she said she also posted it to create a safe space for women to come out and share their story, as she knows there's more. Nine, she does not want to make any more videos on the situation and that it's hurting her more. 10, she said that her posting the video hurt her the most and that she knew it would hurt people, but it had to be done. 11, she clarified the dates to be between 2016 to 2018. 12, she said that this is mentally draining for her and that she didn't want it to turn into SA allegations. And 13, she said that she was just emotional about the whole thing, and the whole thing about her waiting for him to blow up is false. So as soon as Cory makes a response, we will cover that and go into the evidence. Again, as it stands right now at the time of recording on July 14th at about 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, he has not responded, but we'll get that to you as soon as it happens. Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives Kiko, Southside, and Coldest Bandito. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.
All right. So if Cory does end up responding to the accusations, we will be here responding to this. We will be here and taking a look at that. Let's see what the people say about this. This shit reads like slam poetry instead of actual allegations. Generally, nothing she alleged is even worth reading. I feel ripped off for wasting my time hearing any of those 3 parts, lol. TLDR, she's upset about a breakup. Such a nothing burger, bro. I hate the mentality of I just need a post for my own sanity, because that is how hot you deal with something. Wait, that is not... What? This is now not hot. Because this is now hot. You deal with something like this. And in a perfect value, the worst way to deal with something like... And is in fact probably the worst way to deal with something like this. If you want closure for this, she should have contacted Cory. Posting publicly brags all eyes and makes it just seem like a cancellation attempt, and she claims that that's not what she wants it to do, but her actions speak differently. Be sure to include that she posted her story that she did not essay. Yeah, she did that. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Okay, so I guess you can say that the court of the media or the court of the internet doesn't quite really agree with the girl in this story, but yet Cory has yet to make a response. So if he does make a response, we'll cover that. If he doesn't, then I guess we'll just move on, I guess. But yeah, that's the Coryxkenshin allegations in a nutshell. Me personally, I'm not gonna take any sides on this. Not gonna, have a full-fledged opinion on this, but those are the accusations in a nutshell. And if you guys want to, I guess, see if Cory would make a response, I don't know if it'll be on YouTube. I don't know if it's on like Instagram or Reddit, but yeah. So yeah, that's the Coryxkenshin accusations in a nutshell. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.